This is the short case for Donald Trump, the short case for Mike Pence, the short case for any Republican Senate candidate in your state, the short case for your Republican in your congressional district. This is the short case to vote Republican. Have Trump and the Republicans helped or hurt you since they assumed office in 2017? Were you the same or worse off as 4 years ago? Now, I think the president and the GOP have helped the vast majority of America. Yes, of course, the virus came from China and it has screwed us up greatly. But my view is that the president has done as well as any president could have done, much better than a soft on China Hillary Clinton would have done, and much better than a shut it all down Joe Biden would do. You are more secure, you are safer, unless you live in a major city run by Democrats, whether you know it or not, because of the vast military rebuild that President Trump has undertaken in the past 4 years. If you're a member of the military, every member of the military has gotten a good sized pay raise. Every member of the military has gotten better equipment. Trump has reduced our military footprint abroad everywhere, preferring to punch back when necessary and pull back wherever possible. The physical caliphate of ISIS is gone. It was destroyed. Syria and Iran are on notice. The two biggest terrorist leaders alive in 2016, Soleimani from Iran and al-Baghdadi, then the ISIS caliphate, they're dead in 2020. Huge, important new peace deals have been concluded between the United Arab Emirates and Israel and between Bahrain and Israel. These are the first peace deals between our Jewish state ally and their Arab neighbors in 25 years. Our strongest ally, Israel, is stronger than ever. Our partnership with it, deeper and growing better. Donald Trump has exposed China and their imperial ambitions and their awful human rights abuses from the Chinese Communist Party's concentration camps in Xinjiang to the repression of Hong Kong. The president exposed China's complicity in allowing the virus to escape from Wuhan. The president exposed WHO's complicity in that release. He has made NATO pay up. Their share of the cost of the common defense for Europe has increased dramatically. Trump and GOP economics brought unemployment to a record low in January of this year across all demographics, all age groups, and the economy was the largest in history measured by gross domestic product. And we are recovering from the forced shutdown. Unemployment is back below 8% and headed down. It will continue to head down if Donald Trump is reelected and Republicans are reelected. Your jobs outside of the restaurant and the travel industry are mostly back and secure, and the economy will continue to grow. We've got to reopen safely. We've got to face the virus and do it well to get the restaurant and the travel business back going. Trump has hit the right balance on the virus. He has done as well as anyone could have done, especially given the secrecy of the Chinese and the failure of the CDC to develop a test early on. Look around the world as the real stats emerge. It says, often it says we've got the highest number of cases in the United States, the highest number of deaths. That ought to mean the highest number of reported cases and the highest number of reported deaths because, let's face it, third world countries do not report. They do not know. They do not tell. Pretty soon those numbers are going to be eclipsed by Brazil and India, and they do bad reporting and incomplete telling. Shattered economies in the Middle East. Shattered economies all over the world. Ours was closed and has rebounded because of Trump and his approach. We have the best medical system, the best record system. We have developed the therapeutics. We are developing the vaccine. Operation Warp Speed is succeeding. You want to change all that? You want to go back to the bureaucracies of Obamacare? More importantly, your freedom is safer under Trump. Your fundamental right to be left alone is safer under Trump. Trump GOP judges, 3 soon on the Supreme Court, 53 on the appeals courts, hundreds more on the district courts, will protect your right. They will protect your religious liberty. They will protect your right to own guns. They will protect you in your home. They will keep you secure. If you're a veteran, The VA is working and running as well as it ever has. It's getting better every day under Trump. Cares about the vets. The national parks that you may or may not use, but you want to have them, are much better off after the Great Outdoors Act was passed. The environment is much cleaner because of a renewed emphasis at the EPA, and my son worked there, so I always disclose that, on Superfund cleanup on clean air and clean water, the historical missions of the EPA. Most healthcare premiums have stabilized. Employer healthcare has gone completely stable. The absurd mandate is gone. As employment rose up until January of this year and the virus, people were getting back to employer-provided health care, and those premiums were stabilizing. Democrats want Medicare for all, which means misery for all. Rationing. As I mentioned, these judges are going to protect not only your religious liberty, they're going to protect your free speech. The craziness in the media that you've seen will not impact you. You can't be fired for what you believe. You cannot be oppressed or kept out of college because you're the wrong race or the wrong color. You cannot be shut down because of your free speech. We've rooted out the very small group of FBI bureaucrats, Comey and McCabe and their gang. And John Durham, the U.S. attorney investigating this, hadn't reported back yet, but he will. We'll eventually get an indictment or at least a report on what happened, but they're gone. Crime was way down before the defund the police movement began. The George Floyd murder ignited riots, which were unfortunate, but Democratic mayors simply stood back and abdicated. That's what you'll get nationally. Abdication of national security if Democrats win. Trump generally leaves you alone, and Americans generally want to be left alone. That's why you should vote for Trump. You may love him as a person. You may loathe him as a person. But his policies are undoubtedly good for this country and good for you. Now, the Democrats have gone hard left. I mean, really hard left. They will wreck health insurance with Medicare for all. They will wreck the energy business if Democrats impose the Green New Deal. They will lose your freedoms via left-wing judges who will impose radical regimes on your religious life and on your right to keep and bear arms. They will undo the Constitution with radical measures. They will undo the requirement of 60 votes to pass legislation in the Senate. That means a wild agenda will go through. Statehood for the District of Columbia, which is flatly unconstitutional. They will expand and pack the Supreme Court with left-wing judges if Democrats get the majority and Joe Biden wins. The Green New Deal will wreck this economy, and you'll see no good from it. They will slash military spending as they did under President Obama. They will impose Medicare for all, which will ruin your relationship with your doctors and your health care plans. If Joe Biden is the nominee, understand he's gone as far as left as Bernie Sanders. It's an easy choice. Trump and the Republican senators and the Republican congressmen. Susan Collins in Maine. Tom Tillis in North Carolina. By the way, Cal Cunningham is DQ'd down there. Not one affair. Now there are rumors, whispers of a second affair. David Perdue in Georgia. Lindsey Graham, of course, in South Carolina. Joni Ernst in Iowa. Cory Gardner in Colorado. Martha McSally in Arizona. Tommy Tuberville in Alabama. John James in Michigan. And all of your Republican congressmen. This is a clear statement about the choice ahead of you. Nothing like you hear on the media, because the Manhattan Beltway media is 95% virulently anti-Trump. The most absurd imbalance in my life, and it's going to get worse. That's the first and obvious sign of a one-party state. We've got to fight back against that. Vote against a one-party state. Vote for Donald Trump, the Republican senator on your ballot, the Republican congressman in your district. Vote. I'm Hugh Hewitt. I'll be right back.